Hey y'all, it's Luna. I know I'm doing this for a third day in a row. Little disclosure. I'm challenging myself to do this. I have made more effort to write on Facebook than any other than being present in any other place. Mostly because that's where I started being public with my speaking at. But some of that effort is just really exhausting to me at this point, mentally exhausting to me, because I'm constantly typing, but I'm also rewriting. Now, it got easier for a little bit. I'm just telling you a little bit about my process. Hopefully, y'all don't mind me sharing. It got easier for me for a little bit when they invented the you can post later. So I'll write something, have a thought in the middle of the night, or a download, and I'll post on it. Or I have a feeling about something that maybe can be expressed, and I'll post on it, right? And that was getting a bit much with my schedule now the way it is. So I would do multiple in a day and just set them up for later. That was like great. But it became kind of emotionally problematic for me because I have this little thing where I tell people they can come and view, they don't have to do too much. One of the reasons why I do that now is because people who were supporters of me, friends, etc., were getting harassed on a constant basis by people who consider themselves to be fans, which I don't encourage, and people who really can't stand my guts, but they go and harass my friends or anybody who want to associate themselves with me, and they thought I wasn't aware that they were doing this. And I was already telling folks, hey, don't post nothing, don't say nothing, don't comment, don't like, because some people cannot be helped. But if you still want to be healthy, you still want to learn something, or you still want to think outside the box, or be encouraged to do so, or in some way, I don't know, if you want to be entertained, just entertained by the things that I'm saying or doing, you come on by, but you ain't got to do too much. Been saying that for quite some time, I ain't lost not one follower. It's like, but here's the thing. It's easy when you already have a platform that is built to the extent that you can handle. And at first it was for me. Now not so much, because now it's expected of me to constantly have something to say every day. How I understood that was when I wouldn't post for a day or two, some folks would message or send off a vibe in whatever way they knew how to let me know they was concerned or worried or whatever, because they knew about all these folks that was doing all this harassing and bull crap. And I didn't realize the extent of the way they valued me, which I appreciate, but also realized that it felt like to me, some of the times, whenever I would take little downtime and breaks, a level of codependency that wasn't healthy. And that's one of the things I am discouraging as it pertains to the spiritual community, because that's one of the things I think is problematic in organized religion, is encouraging codependence. And codependence in and of itself is not toxic to you. But codependence in a way that you put somebody on a pedestal and somehow elevate them above you, not understanding that they're fallible and can have flaws, that become problematic on both ends. It's like, as soon as somebody does something uniquely human to be in this place, especially if it's a learned behavior, that's the moment it's like, everything you said was false. Ma'am, sir, did you learn from what I said? Did it in some way help you? How does that change based on something I've done? And that part right there, I don't want no part of it. But also, too, I don't want no part of the codependence. Okay? I've had that, don't want it. Never did. And I used to try to make myself fit in that mode because I'm learning, just like everybody else, how to do this public speaking thing in a way that's responsible. Okay? Because I didn't care about the responsibility part. I just did whatever before. Now, I actually care about that part, right? So it's like, I want to be as responsible as I possibly can be while doing this, while also being steadfast and respectful of my own energy. So if I call somebody else, I'm not going to call them out by name. I never did that, really. Maybe one or two people in the past. And to this day, I'm like, I don't regret it. Again, sis was doing the best she could with the tools she had. I love her. I love me. But that's not something I would do today. You know what I mean? And even if somebody's a big public figure, I might use their story as an example, but not necessarily to be like problematic in a way for myself or for them. Like, here's this person that everybody knows about, here's their story, here's an example of how you can use that to educate yourself. But outside of that, I'm not trying to tussle with nobody. And if somebody trying to tussle with me, I don't know about it because I don't follow nobody. Not because I think I'm better than anybody. If I see something I like, I see something I like. But I've gone through the process of supporting, just blindly supporting anybody who asks for support. And what I found was it can become problematic if you don't filter. And so now I'm at the point where I filter through everything. If I follow you on anything, which is rare, I've already looked at all of your stuff, everything about you. And not because I'm trying to judge you, but because I'm trying to see if everything about you is in alignment with everything about me. It don't have to be the same. We don't even have to think the same. But if the energy's off in any aspect, I'm just like, why am I entertaining myself with this? I'm very discerning about what goes through here. Okay? Very discerning. And you should be too. So if I say some stuff that you don't agree with, it's okay for you not to agree with it. Your reality is just as valid as my own. I'm always be an advocate for that. Now, me doing this multiple days in a row is my way of getting more control for myself of my energy, because it was overwhelming. I need space on this platform. As of right now, I don't have too many people here expecting much of me. So I feel more free to speak openly as opposed to typing. As I was becoming aggressive and angry. Not that I didn't feel my feelings weren't valid. I just felt myself slipping back into that place of being aggressive and angry. And then when I was off it, I still kind of had that vibe. And I'm like, I'm good. I know a lot of people who like, I ain't leaving this social platform, and they do it for attention. I'm not me. That's not me. If I'm being quiet, I'm being quiet for a reason. Go ahead and leave me alone. And I say that from a space of love. If I'm being quiet, sis, bruv, I am tired. So if you try to force yourself in there thinking I'm doing it for attention, that's not a good idea. It never is. Okay? And I'm one of those people. Full disclosure, I'm gonna let y'all in a little bit peek. Yeah, if I'm quiet is when it's concerned, but it's not the time to show that concern to me. Like, evaluate if I'm being quiet with you, if there's something I need a space from, but I'm not going to be quiet with you in an aggressive manner, like some passive aggressive. I really legitimately need that space. But I see this platform as a challenge for myself, because it's been very difficult to speak what I write. Writing is easy for me. Always has been. This is a challenge for me, energetically a challenge. Because somebody seeing my writing, I might feel that vibe. When someone hearing me speak and seeing my face, I'm going to feel that way more, and I always do. So between that and the things I've already previously expressed about being concerned about what I say, how I say it, not because I'm trying to people please or have people like me. That's not even on the table right now. It would be nice, but I'm not trying. It's more of a being responsible. And that becomes more and more prevalent and important to me, has become more and more prevalent and important to me because of my experiences on social media. And a lot of them, as say in the last 3 years, have been positive, but the negative ones, the energy and the vibe from them was so intense that I'm like, someone like me who's been through what I've been through can feel this so intently and be almost on the brink of, I'm about to go straight to the hood again. Don't let this degree fool you. I was raised on some of the meanest streets. And as soon as I had that thought, I'm like, girl, what is you doing? You've overcome a lot of things to get to where you are. Why would you allow that to bring you there? You're not ashamed of where you came from or who you are. That's still a part of who you are, but do you have to take it there? If you are in a position to take it there over some stuff that's going on online, do you even need to be in this space? It's like, nah, I don't. But what it got me to thinking about is being more responsible in my tone, being more responsible in how I deliver things so that I can model behavior for people who actually want to have some sense. And when I say have some sense, it's not about people pleasing or trying to impress anybody, but like, if you're trying to educate, you're trying, and your goal and intended goal is to create more balance in the world, then we can be balanced. And when we don't know no better, we don't do no better. But when we know better, we do better. At least that's the premise of me trying to be more present here. Give myself the opportunity while nobody's already looking at me to perfect my energy in this space. Okay? Because I'm going to tell you, it was getting to a bitch to be more overwhelming than not. Okay? And I tried to go on other platforms and see if I liked that better because my friends were encouraging me. I was on TikTok for maybe a month and a half. And I wasn't on there a month and a half straight. Before I was like, I'm going to need to step up out of here because I've come too far to wash it all down the drain with this foolishness. Now, there were some beautiful people, I'm not going to lie, that I've met on there, that I've had to experience. I had the pleasure of experiencing on there. But that was just some things I'm just like, I'm really concerned for our children. I'm really concerned for the dynamic they think that they're building. When the church was built, for example, this is what came to my mind. Excuse me, y'all. My nose itches every now and again when I'm doing this. But when the church was built, the main staple of churches, and that is Abrahamic religions and Christianity, to accomplish the goal of having that one nation under God in America and other places, they had to kill a whole lot of people and hurt a whole lot of people and maim a whole lot of people. And then after that, indoctrinate a whole lot of people. And then after that, mentally enslave a whole lot of people. This is not me talking crap about your religion. If it gives you peace, I honor that. If you're using that dynamic in a way to give you inner peace and to aid and assist yourself and other people, you ain't got no problems here, sis and bros. But I'm talking about the part that makes you think it's okay to hurt and harm people because this person is a part of the cloth or a part of the church. Okay, it's okay to direct people to do that because blah, blah, blah. Now, I'll be the first one to tell you, if you need to fight back, fight back. It's because you're being attacked or some sensibility about you is being attacked. And I've been one to be like, tell them twice and then whip their ass. And be honest. Because there's nothing nobody you told twice do not understand. They've made the decision. And now you have one to make. Are you going to fight or are you going to flight? Okay? Now, with that said, the impression I got was that a lot of people, especially, no matter what platform, but on there in particular, it's just a lot of back and forth on who's more powerful than who and who has this person riding for them and who's that person's child and that person's child. And I'm like, if you love somebody, and I still had it in my mind, if you love on people hard enough, people who obviously some of them have not received that love, honor, and respect that each person should be entitled to, especially from family members and inner circle and community. Because we've lost a lot of that over the generations. You give them enough of that and show them they can work together and achieve a common goal, then maybe they'll stop fighting each other. But some people went along with that and some people did not. And I ain't here to force nobody to do nothing. I will force you to get out of my face if you stay in there too long and I don't want you there. But outside that, no. So, like, that's one of the hardest lessons I learned. No matter how smart you think you are, how strong you think you are, how powerful you think you are, you try to control something, you are going to extend a lot of energy. But if you allow, that's a whole different kind of boss energy. But first you got to learn how to allow, but that comes from a space of love. Allowing is cousins with love. Mm-hmm. And so also allowing is like, it's almost like the villains in Marvel movies and the like, when they start monologuing and whatnot and saying all the things they gonna do to somebody and how they gonna beat somebody's butt and this and this. It's like, why you monologuing? There's an opportunity to escape or to beat your butt. Okay? So sometimes you just gotta let people be. This is what I had to learn. I'm encouraging you to do it. You ain't gotta listen to me. I'm just saying this is what worked for me. Sometimes you gotta let people be and let them unend themselves. Mm-hmm. Now, on that same vein, one of the things that showed me that we need to be more responsible is because, like, if you mirror some of that energy that's coming up right now in the new age spirituality communities, everybody's fighting and competing with each other to do the same thing as the churches did before, at least in my assessment. And that is not objective, it is subjective, based on my experience though. Okay? So if you're doing what you're doing to get the top spot and the top position, and you mad if somebody else get more of this or that than you, like views or money or sponsorships or blah blah blah, and or you mad if somebody say that somebody else's child and you that person's child and they're not saying it the right way because this Orisha or that Loa is not going to tolerate this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, I don't understand. And y'all, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't understand how that's going to help any community elevate. None of that talking is going to help. None of that positioning and measuring sticks is going to help anybody do anything or progress anything or get by anything. It is very rare to see people saying, hey, you know what? This is how you can love each other. It is very common to see, like, here's how you can hex each other, hurt each other. Here's how badass I am. Look, sis and bros, I am a gentle soul. I cry easy. And yes, I am a badass. But I'm going to tell you something. I do not like to fight. I don't like to fight until I fight. Once I am fighting, I'm going to enjoy myself. If I have to fight, I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm going to make it worth my while. Because it takes me a long time to get there. So I don't want to be there. I'm not going to sit here and tell you how gangster I am. Because that's not, that's not the vibes. And even one point in my life where it was the vibes, I still didn't tell nobody. I didn't brag on none of that. Only time you ever see me bucking on social media is because I'm trying my hardest not to whoop somebody's ass. And then now, I don't even do that. I'm not going to say nothing. It's the part of me that allowed. If you want to run up on me, go ahead. I don't want you to run up on me. I like my peace. But if you do, I'm going to give you what you're asking for. And that's all you need to say. And drop the mic and never say it again. Because if you're real about it, really, really about it, you ain't going to have to say it twice. That's all I'm going to say about that. Now, as it pertains to control, if you're constantly telling people what they're doing wrong, as opposed to showing them what to do to align themselves with joy, peace, and happiness in some kind of way and be a part of a community that can build something, then you just turning your wheels. You're just turning your wheels. And that's what I saw for myself and I saw in others. And I'm like, okay, instead of judging them, I'm going to be the change I want to see. Because if I'm constantly cussing people out and telling people off on here, then what makes me different and what is changing? I need to change the vibe if I want to change the vibe. And that's what I'm doing. Changing the vibe. Because here's the thing. It's not just because I'm long on the tooth now. But I've always kind of been this way being an Aquarius. That I want to genuinely see fairness and balance in our society. I know the difficulty with that. And it's not getting less difficult with the changes that are happening right now. I told you, I took my foot off the pedal. And I know sometimes I do feel some trepidation and guilt about that in my process whenever it does come up for me. But I took my foot off the pedal as it pertains to being a part of the changes. Every now and again, I dip my toe in and then dip it right back out. Because I don't stay where I'm not wanted. I don't stay when I'm being abused or misused. I just don't stay. I will fight and defend myself if you come over here though. And I do every single time, but I don't want to. I never do. I rather dismiss myself. I'm like, well, you won. You can have it. I'm cute. I want to stay cute. I don't feel like fighting you. I don't want to sweat if I don't have to sweat. Okay? And you can have it. I'm okay with that. Because I'm okay with me. I don't have anything to prove. Okay? I will bark, but I also bite. But I'd rather not do either. I'd rather just be a teacher. That's my vibe. That's what I feel and I've always felt my purpose is to teach. And what's the point of teaching if there's nothing that is motivating anybody to do anything of positive regard for themselves or anybody else? And when I say positive regard, I mean like when you wake up tomorrow, something I taught you helped you with your day, I did a thing. You wake up tomorrow, you happy, you knew a new thing about yourself or the universe at large. And that's it. It's that simple. Now, as far as who I am, what I do, I've made that clear in various ways. Now, there's people that don't believe me and like the poo-poo on it. And I used to, again, being emotionally impacted by that to the point I'm like, I might have to box them. Now I realized how immature that sounded even to myself. Like, no, you don't. You are who you are. They don't get to invalidate you or your experiences based on their opinion. How silly is that? Mm-hmm. Now, if you'd like to learn more about yourself, I still am going to encourage you to look at a birth chart. Now, here's the thing about birth charts and all tools divination that I will talk to you about here. Don't look at that just looking for the yummy, juicy parts, right? And I'm just encouraging you not to do it just for that purpose or to use information against somebody. Because no different than if you don't have life experience, because I think wisdom counts for a lot, educational experience, as well as divination experience, and you put those all together, then you shouldn't be diagnosing nobody with no clinical disorders based on looking at an astrology chart, okay? This is probably problematic and toxic if you're doing it for that purpose, okay? But you could. I look at charts and realize there might be some problematic energies in somebody's emotions, and we can discover that together and talk about it or whatever, right? But I don't think that that's a practice that's necessarily good to do for the reg. If you want to know what transits is going to impact you coming up, you can go on any social media platform and find that somewhere. But I don't recommend you doing that all the time because future thinking and future tripping is not always healthy. As a matter of fact, I've never seen a time when somebody does that repeatedly and consistently that it is healthy for the mental or the emotional, nor the spiritual. We're meant to live, honey. Knowing who you were at birth and having some things make sense to you via your birth chart and know some kind of idea of what to expect energetically coming up based on your birth chart. Now that that might not be problematic because it's just having a tool to prepare you for things. But there's things I can see in a chart that I would never tell nobody about. I'll see your chart and see it in your chart and you will never know it because I'll never tell you. Same thing is I don't need a deck of cards to tell me stuff. Sometimes I just get the energy vibrations or somebody said something and I can hear it. Guess what? I don't tell everything I hear and I don't tell everything I see. With wisdom comes maturity, and maturity and wisdom comes knowledge, and all of those things can be very, very sound when you have discernment. Mm-hmm. And I think that there are times where I close my mouth when I knew I wasn't going to be able to have that. There's sometimes I open my mouth when I didn't have that, and I've learned from those things. See, learn, process, grow, all those things. It's one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing now and challenging myself to be here and present with you. Because you might see this the week I'm doing it when I have 30 some odd subscribers, or if it builds and gets to thousands. It doesn't matter to me when you see it. The point is still sound, that I'm challenging myself to do something different because I was uncomfortable. Okay? But it's a challenge for me because this is more uncomfortable short term than the other one was. Because see, I can leave that and post for days on Facebook and just have it post for me. And I don't even be on there, just posting for me. And I'll be doing other stuff. But see, up here, I would always know, boom, when somebody was watching it. I would always know how many people. I have a feeling. And I go, see, yep. The good thing about having a public page for so long, and I know some people understand this, that you can see your demographics, you see your demos, you can see how many views you got on this or that, every single post. And I see it every single time. I don't look no more because I was starting to get anxiety. Like, the anxiety was starting to build, and every time it starts to build, I stopped looking for a while. But then, good old Marky Mark would remind me with emails if I'm going up or I'm going down. I'm just like, can y'all stop sending these to me? I would appreciate that. Thanks. So now I just ignore the emails. Okay. And so it got to a point where between what I told you earlier and that, I'm just like, I'm going to go somewhere where Well, nobody. Instead of going where everybody knows my name, I'm going where nobody knows my name and start fresh. Cause I have enough of my day job, and there's just getting afraid. I have a day job and a night job, but that's the story for another day. Cause now I'm at 25 minutes. Let me keep an eye on time. I told you I'm not gonna be competing with these short attention spans. I'm just not going through it. Okay. So I may or may not come on here tomorrow, because tomorrow I think I have a free day. I think, unless somebody coming through here last minute trying to get a session, I think I have a free day tomorrow. Either way, I really appreciate you guys, whoever comes through this process with me right now, because I was strictly doing the tarot messages at first with the astrology, and then I started doing the astrology. Then I would get my words in every now and again, like just to say some stuff to y'all. But right now I'm just like sprinkling astrology, and tarot don't even come out here. Okay? Because like I realized, just because I enjoy something doesn't mean that it can't be problematic for somebody else. And I'm like, okay, so you gotta measure. How problematic would it be if I read tarot right now for somebody who even understands on a beginner's level and see something come out for their sign and start having some kind of issues with it, okay? And so I really weigh that against the benefits of doing it, and to me the cost benefit analysis says to me, leave them to the side for individual sessions, because it's very, very hard to read for thousands of people and get an accurate reading. And so some people who are listening to that and trusting your word will get a reading and perceive that whatever negative energy that you read is coming to them, and being anxious about it and actually impacting their lives and manifest the works, because their thoughts start to run, you see. And then there's people who are in desperate need for good news and hear that good news and get hope for a moment, and then that thing doesn't happen. And now you've caused a depression, anxiety cycle that wasn't already present. I'm talking to all of y'all. Anyway, I hopefully can be responsible with what I do and what I say here. I'm going to try my best not to be aggressive. Like what I just said, I'm talking all that. That was a little aggressive, but that's as aggressive as it's gonna get on here. I don't feel a need to do all that, at least not at this stage of the game. But I do feel a need to be responsible, and I think that there is a need. I feel strongly there's a need to bridge a gap between the old guard and the new, and so we can identify what that really is and what that really looks like. And pull layers back off of the things that need to be pulled back, yes. But control and controlling your mind, controlling you, manipulating you is not a part of that process here. And it never will be. Anyway, y'all loved.